Hi, welcome to Glow's Kindred Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I really appreciate it, and so does Richard. And today I decided to make red beans and rice for dinner, and I'm going to actually be putting this in my crock pot, and it takes just about 6 hours. And one of the things that prompted me to do this today, actually there are two things. We're celebrating our youngest son Mox's birthday today, and so I'm doubling my recipe so that he can take some of this home for him and his roommate. And the other reason is a friend of mine, Jess, she had asked me just the other day if I could, post some more recipes of dishes that you can cook in your crock pot. And I said, absolutely. So this is one that I do cook in my crock pot a lot. And there's a couple of different ways to do it. So we'll talk about that as we're going on here. But let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I do when I'm going to be using my crock pot, which I use a lot, is I try to prepare everything ahead of time, especially if I'm going to be doing this in the morning. Like, for example, this recipe calls for 3 stalks of celery, which I already had cut up. It calls for 1, fairly large green pepper, which I, de-seeded and cut up. And then it calls for 1 to 1.5 cups of onion, which I chopped up, and all of it's in, bite-sized pieces. And you don't have to do it super small because it's going to cook as we're going along here. So the first thing I'm going to do is, there are some mornings when I don't have a lot of time, and if I have not sauteed my stuff the night before, and I don't have time in the morning, you don't have to. You can go ahead and just put it in your crock pot, and the crock pot will take care of it. Now, with that being said, that way of preparing this is delicious, but when you saute something on your stove in some butter and in some baking grease or whatever you have, it's going to add a lot more flavor. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to go ahead, I turn my stove on medium. I have a good size tablespoon of butter in here, and the same with bacon grease.
It smells good already.
You know the old saying, everything's better with bacon, and same with butter.
That's for sure.
So I'm just going to go ahead and set this over here and get it out of the way. And you're probably thinking, wow, that's a lot of veggies. It is to start with. And also, I forgot to mention, there are 2 cloves of garlic in this as well. It's smelling good already.
Yes, it is.
So it calls for Andouille Sausage, and I have some here. I'll show you the kind that I get, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to get it in your area, but that's how you spell it also. And the Cajuns and people in New Orleans and stuff, they use that type of sausage a lot.
It's got a picture of Texas and Louisiana look like on the front.
So it calls for red beans. This particular brand is the kind I like. And I went ahead and soaked mine the night before, but I wanted to show you what I do. So these are dried beans. And what I do is I put them on, in a contrasting dish, or like, for example, since this is clear, and if I put that here, I wouldn't be able to really see it as well. So I took one of my pot holders that's white, and it's contrasting. And what you're looking for is rocks, dirt, that type of thing, or beans that aren't, if you had a cracked bean, you want to get rid of it.
Miss Glow, can you move that spoon in the bacon?
I'm sorry?
In the bacon jar there.
Sorry about that.
I couldn't get the full view.
Okay. So anyway, that's what you do. Some people call that sorting beans, and some people call it looking your beans. I usually call it sorting my beans. But after I do that step, then I take my strainer and I put my dried beans in that. And since I've doubled this recipe, I have a whole package of beans here, and I think this is a 1 pound pack. Yes. So I took my dried beans, put them in here, and rinsed them real well, and then I put them in this bowl here. and soaked them overnight. These have been probably soaking for about 10 hours. See how big they get compared to that?
Yep, they swell up.
They sure do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these beans that I soaked overnight, and I'm going to pour the water out. And I'm going to rinse them. So I'm going to be back in a moment. These are going to cook a little bit more. And as they cook down, then I'm going to be putting the sausage in also to help brown that. So when I come back, we'll talk about the spices we're going to put in here. And it's already smelling delicious. See you back in a moment. Well, our veggies, you know, the green pepper and the onion, the celery and the garlic have been sauteing here. See how they've turned a nice like golden brown? And I threw the sausage in. When the veggies started to kind of go limp, that's when I put the sausage in. Because the sausage is pre-cooked. So my goal here was to just get some color on it. It gives it a lot more flavor for when you're going to put it in this dish. So I rinsed my beans. I poured the water out, and then I rinsed them a few times. So I'm going to pour those right in here. I already have my crock pot warming up here. I have it on for 6 hours. Now, if I was working all day, you can cook this on the longest setting, 10 hours, and you're fine. So this is a very forgiving dish. And what I did also is I threw my bay leaves in about a minute before we came back on. And the reason I do that is by putting those bay leaves, in fact here is one of them, in this oil, it will liven them up and just wake them right up. Sometimes I put my dry seasonings in here, but I have a lot of powdered seasonings. So, and I'm going to go over these seasonings. But that's the reason I did not put it in here, because the powder will burn very easily if you did that. Just turn this off right now. So see how nice and golden brown that is?
Looks great.
This is
smells great,
giving it a lot more flavor. Now, like I said, both ways are easy and they're delicious either way. If you do want to brown this and you find like, I really don't have time in the morning to do that, brown this stuff up the night before and then put it in your refrigerator. It'll be just fine. You can warm it up either on your stove or in your microwave before you add it to your crock pot. And I'm one that does not like to waste. So I'll be getting the rest of this out to put in here, but I wanted to go on to the seasonings with you. What I'm going to do right now though is, see all the brown bits here in the bottom of your pan? Those are your friend. When you are going to do a dish like this, or for a crock pot, deglaze your pan and then pour that into your crock pot, because that is all added flavor. You don't want to waste that. So what I'm doing here is lightly stirring that to get those brown bits off. I already have my burner off. And I'm just going to let this set here a few minutes, and what that will do is that will release everything so I can pour it right into the crock pot. And right now I don't even feel any resistance as I'm stirring. So I'm going to just let that set there. See how that liquid is brown?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's your friend. So now let's talk about the seasonings. This is my little recipe I've had for a long time. So I went ahead and I pre-measured everything out for you guys. But there is 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of sage, a half a teaspoon of Creole seasoning or Cajun seasoning, Did I say half a teaspoon? It's a 1 teaspoon for doubling it. There's a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. There's 1 tablespoon of sugar. There is 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 bay leaves, 2 teaspoons of chicken base, and it says here it'd be 12 dashes of cumin. I would say probably a good teaspoon or a teaspoon and a half of cumin. If you've never used cumin before, it is delicious, and it adds a nice earthy flavor to your dish. For beans and stuff, it's so good. I put it in my chili as well. So now I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top. And see, by having all that measured out ahead of time, see how easy that goes together?
Pretty easy.
Yep. So I'm going to get a couple hot pads here to get this on. And yes, this pan is hot and it's heavy, so.
I can see it steaming. Pour slowly.
Yep. And there'll probably be some in here I'll have to get out still. But there you go. I'll just put that down. So then the rest you're just going to cover with water. So I had here, when I started off, I had about 5 cups of water. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour this in. But I'm going to need a little bit more. So here I have 2 quarts of water. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to pour this up to where it's almost covered everything. Let me see here. Oh yeah. See how nice that is? And this is going to make the house, it already smells really good, but as it's cooking, it's going to be phenomenal. So anyway, I have this set on 6 hours, which is high. Like I said, if I was going to work, it would be on 10 hours, probably. But anyway, I'll see you back in about, probably about 7 hours, because I'm going to have to make rice too for this. But see how easy this is, you guys? I'll see you back later on this afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Hi, well, welcome back. It's been 6 hours, and let's take a look now at this red beans and rice. It smells awesome. I'm going to stir it up. I haven't touched this since we put this in here. Oh my gosh. If it tastes as good as it smells, this is going to be divine.
I think it will.
Oh my gosh, look at that, you guys. Look at that sausage with it. Oh yeah. Doesn't that look good?
Does look pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sample it first because, like I said, I haven't taken a look at this since we started it earlier today. And I want to make sure the seasonings are right. Oh my gosh.
Must be
Perfect.
right.
Perfect. So, I'm going to go ahead and plate this up, and we're going to sample this together. So I'll be back in just a few minutes. I was going to show you this pot of rice I made. Look at that.
It's a big pot.
Our son that's here for his birthday dinner, rice is one of his favorites. So I wanted to make sure I made plenty of it for him. So anyway, I'll be back in a moment, and we're going to taste this together.
We'll be back.
Well, now it's time for the taste test, you guys, and this smells so good. So I'm really excited about trying this. When I sampled it in the crock pot, it certainly was delicious. So let's see. Oh, I can smell all those spices, including the cumin. Oh. This is like perfect, if I must say so myself. The spices are so good. And the rice is such a great accompaniment to it. Do we have a piece of sausage? And those beans are so creamy. They're just delicious. Double thumbs up, really. That is just delicious. I'm not sure if you guys have ever tried something like this. I had never tried it until I was an adult, and it is delicious. So anyway, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching our video. We appreciate your time and your commitment to our channel. And if you've enjoyed this and you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please consider to do that. And again, thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi, well, this is a PS to the video. I forgot to mention to you guys, always keep track of how many bay leaves you put into your dishes, because you want to make sure that you remove these. I put 2 in. Here's one of them. Make sure you remove them and do not serve that to anybody. It serves the dish well as far as flavor, but you do not want to eat it.
No.
So anyway, I just wanted to come back on and remind everybody about that. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.